All right, Chris in Chicago, what say you?
How you doing, Brian? I was
I'm
worried
doing.
about why you never talk about like the economy, how Trump is doing 59% negative in the economy right now. You got
I don't know what that means.
26. Well, right now, Trump approval rating when it comes to the economy, according to CNN, is right now 59% negative approval rating when it comes to the economy. 59% of Americans right now don't believe in Trump when it comes to the economy. Right now, we got 26% increase in foreclosures in the month of January under Trump's economy.
Yeah.
You never talk about none of that. Right
Uh-huh.
now, inflation has increased in the month of January and February. You don't talk about any of that. Like, why don't you never mention the economy?
Well, there's it's not. I talk about the economy a lot. The last caller before you was concerned about the tariffs on cars at his Ford dealership, and I explained to him how the tariffs are a positive for both the.
How can a tax be a positive?
I want to explain to you what I explained to him. You missed the call. The guy that claimed he was
No,
from Iowa.
no. You don't have to go. I heard you, but
Okay, you
explain to
heard
me
me.
how can a tax, an overall tax, it's an overall tax on a vehicle. How can that be a positive?
You said you heard the
Just
call.
because
Didn't you
of
hear my
negoti
answer? If
Yeah,
the
but
if a
you said
tariff
negotiate. Hold
if
on, you
I
said
if
negotiations.
I'm going into a car dealership, okay, to buy a car, and that car is not made in the United States, and there's a tariff, I'm going to tell the salesman that they need to knock that off the car right now. Need to mark it off the car
Well,
right now, or I'm
well,
going
I'm
to
gonna
go
tell
across
you
the
this.
street, and they will. They'll
Well, I'm
do
gonna tell
it.
you. I'm
And
gonna tell you this real quick.
by the way, that helps me as the buyer because I got the price down. It helps the salesman because he's going to get a commission, and it helps the dealer because they got a car off the lot. So that's how the
I don't want
tariff
you to
is
cut me off
positive.
but let me tell you right now. I work for a manufacturing plant. It's tariffs on all vehicles, regardless if they made in the U.S. or not, because it's the parts that's imported.
Well,
That's what causes tariffs on vehicles.
well, that's a good thing for the same reason I just
All
told you.
parts, all parts can be made in the U.S. All
If
parts cannot be made in the U.S.
if
That
I
would never happen again.
excuse me. Here's another thing you don't understand. Okay, this is how it's a positive. All right, open up your closed mind for a second. Listen to this. So you say because of the parts, there's some tariff on each vehicle because some of the parts might be made elsewhere. Okay. But if the
Right.
car, even though the parts may be made in Japan, as an example, if the car itself is made in the United States, right? If the car itself is made in the United States, assembled in the United States at a U.S. plant, but all the parts are made elsewhere, if I go out and buy that car, I can deduct the interest on the loan off of my taxes for the very first time because of President Trump's big beautiful bill.
You don't understand. These taxes wouldn't be there if Trump would have
No,
never
no, no.
imposed
You don't
taxes.
understand. If you,
Oh my,
do
come
you have
on,
a
man.
car that's financed?
No, not at this current time. No, I paid it off.
You okay? Well, okay, but a lot of people do. But you paid it off. It used to be financed. For the very first time
Correct.
this year, because of President Trump, you can deduct off of your taxes the interest on a car loan of a car that's made in the United States. By the way, that means assembled in the United States. Like, as an example, in Louisiana, they make Lexus and Toyotas. There's many Lexus and Toyota plants in Louisiana. Those parts may be made in Japan, but since the car's assembled in Louisiana, and even though it's a Toyota or a Lexus, I can deduct all the interest from that auto loan off of my taxes for the very first time. So you're saving money.
Like I said, I'm not knocking some of the good things
Well, no, no,
about
no.
the,
Is
the,
that a
the
good
bill.
thing? So don't you
No,
understand?
I said I'm not knocking some of the good things about the bill. That's a good thing. That promotes, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, if it's an American
So
car, that
tariffs are a
promotes
good
that.
thing.
No, not tariffs. That's a tax on American people. I'm not saying that, and you know that's the
No,
case.
it's not.
Why
Because
would you-
because
why would you
because
be-
I'm telling that Ford dealer that's making his cars in Canada that if he doesn't knock that tariff off, I'm not buying the car. I'm going across the street where there's no tariff.
But the manufacturing on cars is not coming back to the U.S. tomorrow. It's not going to happen. Today, the American people are suffering. You got 26% increase in foreclosures right now in the month of January.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Well, then
right now, inflation,
don't.
and
Do you know what the number one? Do you know
groceries.
what the number one reason for foreclosures are?
I don't know.
Why do you think?
People losing their
Calm
jobs.
down.
You
Calm
got
down. You're getting
92,000 people lost their jobs.
you're getting hysterical. You're getting hysterical. The number one reason for a foreclosure. What do you think? A foreclosed home.
Because people lose their jobs. People are losing their jobs. That's the number one reason.
Okay, let me give you another. Let me word it another way. My wife and I have lived in the same house for over 20 years. I have a small house. Okay, it's a very small house. My daughter's grown up and moved out. It's just my wife and I, so it's okay. But I bought this house over 20 years ago. I could afford to go out and buy a bigger house in a much nicer neighborhood that's brand new. Why do you think I don't do that?
Because of the cost of living. I mean, you're not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? You're financially stable.
Yeah. So why do you think I don't do it?
Because I mean, you comfortable where you at. I mean, I'm not.
Oh no.
I mean,
It's
just,
because financially, it's a smart move. Why upgrade? Why upgrade if I don't need to or have to? Because I'm smart. I live within my means. The number one reason for foreclosures are people buying a home beyond their means.
People overspending.
That's right.
I understand that.
They buy a home they really can't afford.
But right now,
that's correct.
But right now,
they buy a home they can't afford. So why is it my fault? Why is it Trump's fault? Why is it Trump's fault?
No.
If you buy a house you can't afford and it gets foreclosed on, why is that Trump's fault?
Can I talk?
Respond to what I said.
The reason why it's Trump's fault is because right now you got people losing their health care at a high rate under Trump.
No.
You got people right now,
that's not true.
Hold on.
That's not true.
Right now, it is because of the AA subsidies, the Affordable Care Act subsidies. That's why
we're cutting off the illegals that have no right to have those benefits. Same thing with the jobs. There's a gain in jobs. The reason that the statistics show a loss of jobs is not because actual jobs have been lost. It's because the deportations. Every deportee is a job.
Why do we have an increase in unemployment applications? It's not the illegals filing for unemployment.
I don't know that to be true. I've not seen that story. Listen, I'm late for the break. I got to run, Chicago, but I appreciate the call, okay? It's Trump's fault if someone buys a house they can't afford. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Please. Live within your means.